Tortured. It's From the Front Row with Johnathan T. Rokford.
It never stops with these people. Oh, God. I don't know how much longer they're going to go. What's next? An atomic wedgie submission match? What's up, folks? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford, here for another edition of From the Front Row. And do not adjust your TVs. Yes, my hair is green. I would start the night off with the Game Changer Championship and a result from it, but they're still fighting, folks. And on and on and on they go. We have another marathon match, folks, between the Brass Hole and Essential J. LeMasters, both of the Killer Goons. Now, they did decide to take a break because they did have matches coming up. Most importantly, the Brass Hole with the championship match coming up, and Jalen Masters was set to face the pretty tough David the Beast Smith. And with that, let's get into the matches that officially went on. Now, we were scheduled for about 13, 14 matches, but of course, as always, there's always a few people who don't show up to work. So, I'm going to announce the winners of the matches via disqualification because their opponents didn't show up. So we had Jermaine Walker, former WPA champion, and still probably one of the greatest predictors in the league, who was scheduled to take on the lumberjack Tommy Celsius. Tommy must have feared what Jermaine brought to the table and decided not to participate. Now, both Jerry Flynn and Johnny the Body, which is nothing unusual for Johnny the Body, no shows. Supreme Knight was scheduled to take on Pierre St. Damien, and this one did surprise us, folks, as Pierre is always there. We'll have to see what happened to him because it's unusual for him not to show up, so we'll have to check that out. And then the last one was Nergahante, set to take on Little Dicky the Spot. So, that was the ones that didn't happen because no opponents. Now, as far as people who actually showed up to battle, folks, it was a tough night in WPA. Every single match, fire. Everybody came out to battle. Each match, one match closer than the next. There was no domination, with the winners squeaking by on wins. And in our first official match, we had newcomer Kwani Fist set on to take on Bobby Buttercream, and he was able to defeat him. And I believe this is his first official match in the league. He needed time to figure out who he was, and once he discovered himself, I guess he discovered he could win. In our next match, we had Emperor 2K Anomalium taking on Money MF and Mike of the Killer Goons. And folks, he actually beat him. I mean, we shouldn't always be surprised when the Emperor wins, seeing how he did not too long ago, just won a title and then abruptly lost it. But it doesn't happen as often as it should. Now, in a matchup featuring Killer Goon versus Sinister Member, we had David the Beast Smith taking on the always tough to beat one-on-one Essential J. LeMasters. And folks, the Beast was able to pull out the win, hitting Jalen Masters with a Beast Bomb. And don't know, that wasn't good enough for him. He put him in a Beast Lock and made Jay tap out. It's not Wednesday, so he should have been MDK. But he was just TAP OUT tonight. In our next match, we had the ever controversial Captain Chaos taking on the Wraith and picking up the win with a schoolboy roll-up. I told you folks, these matches went down to who was going to make the first mistake. And unfortunately, the Wraith made the mistake against Captain Chaos, and Captain Chaos was able to capitalize. Looked like he might have had a little bit of his tights, but we don't do instant replay here. The ref's decision is final. In our next match, we had Shepard Bane taking on Texas Hate You and defeating him in another, once again, close match. Now, this one came down to Texas jumping to try to splash Shepard Bane, and Shepard able to move out of the way in time, and Texas hitting his head on the turnbuckle, allowing Shepard Bane to pick up the win, roll him up, pick it up. Gotta watch it. Now, our new WPA World Champion, Johnny Rocco. Who thought you would ever say that? I know Melvin's pissed about that one. Was set to take on Casper 2779, and Casper got out the gate slow. And you cannot, folks, say what you want about Johnny Rocco. Oh, he loses a lot. Oh, he can't win this title. Oh, whatever. You can't start slow against him, and you cannot make a mistake, because he will pounce. And pounce he did as he defeated Casper 2779. That was probably the only match of the night that was not close, folks. It was handedly he beat him. Casper tried to mount a little bit of offense, but by the time he did, Johnny, too late. And normally you would have seen Johnny, if he didn't take his opponent seriously, he would have stepped out the ring a couple of times, but something about being that champion. I fear for opponents now. He's got something to really fight for and to hold on to. We'll have to see what happens. In our next match, we had Needles Kane taking on Big Mel of the Killer Goons. You know, Needles is one half of the tag team champs, taking on a former IC champ, a former TV champ, a game changer title holder, a trios title holder. And he had no answer for Needles, as Needles was able to defeat him. You know, Big Mel hasn't been having that much. I mean, I think he did win last week, but it's been up and down. He did beat Jermaine in a non-title match, so. But yeah. In our next match, we had the Prince of Crime, Delirious, taking on the Darkstalker. What is up with him? Yeah, I don't know. But Delirious was able to defeat the Darkstalker. You know, Darkstalker's lost to Martel, the Carpenter. At least this week, you know, it was Delirious, somebody that actually has a title in their possession. And yeah, whatever can we say? There's not too much we can say about it. He looks just as surprised as everybody else. But the crowd actually cheered this time, you know. In the next match, we had Bobby Blaze taking on the ever vicious El Hijo de COVID. And Bobby Blaze, man, I tell you. That's Melvin's hero, and Melvin was cheering for him up and down the arena as he picked up the win over El Hijo. I tell you, Melvin loves himself some Bobby Blaze. He can't get enough of that guy. I don't know why. Now, our next match was a TV contender match to determine number one contender to face the TV title holder, Money, who is currently our TV title champ. And it was Robert Isaiah Salea taking on the Messiah. And folks, some people in this league will have a losing streak from hell. But all it takes is that one time tasting that gold and they get hungry. And Robert Isaiah Salea is one of those people. He's coming for that TV title. He'll be coming for it. And folks, it will not be a surprise if he wins the TV title. Now, we had 2 championship matches tonight. Triple threat championship. We had the champion Brasso taking on Martel the Carpenter and the Thai Villain. And Brasso was able to defeat them by pinning the Thai Villain. He pinned the OG. The Thai Villain, folks. Former triple champ. You know, Thai Villain's been having a couple weeks down luck, but you know, everybody has their ups and downs. And I'm pretty sure the Thai Villain will get back on the road to some more gold. Now, in our main event, folks, this was by far the match of the night, as Money, Michael, Oliver Nathaniel Everett Young took on his challenger, Lady Assassin. And folks, I wish I would start a fan club. I wish I could be unbiased in this. If I didn't say I was rooting for Lady Assassin the whole night, I would have loved to have seen her raise her hand with that belt in her hand. But it was not to be, folks, as Money was able to defeat Lady Assassin and retain his title, and probably one of the closest matches of the night. It was like a clinic between those two. When you look at people who are fighting for something, both of them, they hands up, yes. Match of the night, folks. Hats off to both of them. I don't know what Phillip has picked for his, top performer of the week, but those two are mine. I mean, say what you want. Okay, guys, you can stop clapping now. Yeah, you can stop. Yeah. Those two put on a show that made the crowd stand to their feet and give them a standing ovation. And then the level of respect they showed each other at the end. Money helped Lady up and shook her hand, and she raised his hand as the victor. True sportsmanship, and folks, that's how we ended the night, on a good note like that. And unfortunately, whenever there's something good, something bad happens. Because it may not be Melvin coming up, but Philip is here to highlight his pick of the week. So that's all I got, folks. Hopefully Philip lets me come back and give my normal goodbyes. Take it away, Philip. Yes, indeed. Good evening, WPA. It's once again me, Phillip Alexander Carrington IV. And once again, I am here to expel upon you my pick of the week. Now, as I once stated, I don't care what your scores are. I don't care who you are. So, all of you wankers who are messaging me to pick them for my top performer, you can bugger off. Now, this week's top performer, of course, is one prince of crime, Delirious. Simply put, he was able to defeat a former Intercontinental Champion. And though he doesn't have that many matches under his belt here in the WPA, facing one of the top performers, or a remnant of the top performer, or maybe a shell of the top performer, is still quite impressive indeed. You know, granted, the little scallywag did win over the weekend at All Out. But you, sir, you put a stop to any streak that he may have begun. I applaud you, sir. I don't know how you did it. The way you kept your poise in times of that match, it was quite exquisite, quite extraordinary. To take control of the match and hold on and get the win. Well, sir, it may not have been a 5-star award-winning wine performance, but it was very close, sir. I must buy more of this. But that is all I have. Who will be my next top performer? It makes you think, doesn't it? Because first you have to decide, what am I looking for in my top performers? You know, truth be told, I used to manage wrestlers back in South Wales. And speaking of South Wales, for you ignorant wankers out there, uh, you might want to go take another geography class, because South Wales is not in London. I don't know why you would think London is here. South Wales is down here. Do some research. I heard Google is free. And please, don't message me or send me messages via a third person. Oh, I hope you message me. I hope you tuck me on my line. You're not on my level of examination. I know what I'm looking for. Don't be a twat. Excuse my language, ladies. But that is all I have for tonight. I guess I will allow Johnathan to finish. But I bid you a good day. I said good day. Oh, he gives me such a headache. Thanks, Phillip. That's all we have for you today, folks. Stay tuned for next week, as we will be here celebrating 1 year in the WPA, as we celebrate the WPA anniversary, folks. And we got some matches for you next week, as our OGs are going to go up against newbies. And some of those newbies are getting title shots. Now, we don't know what the matches are going to be, but from what we can tell, the title holders are selecting their opponents. So if you're the lucky one selected, make sure to put those picks in. Make sure you put your best effort for it, because you could wind up dethroning one of them. So be paying attention, because that will be posted soon. It should be very interesting, these matchups. Could have a couple first-time matchups going on. Could be some people that have faced each other before. Who knows? Only the champs know who they picked. Like I said, if it's you, make sure to put them picks in on time. Don't be a DNP. But that's all I have for you this week, folks. Remember, don't drink and drive, folks. Hug your loved ones. Call that friend in the gym and talk to him while your voice could be a saving grace for them. Have a safe weekend, folks. I'm out. You know, I don't know why they do this to me. I swear to God, I'm expecting that light to cut out at any minute and a dark stalker to pop up in the studio and wreak havoc. One of these days, I swear. Dude, turn the camera off, would you? God.